back half.
Welcome to the back half, and we have our guest here, Jazz.
Hi, everyone.
She's trying to act like she's shy here. This is my first guest here on the comfy couch.
Really?
Yes.
I'm honored. See, y'all need to catch up, mustards. My girl, she'll be jealous.
Yeah. On this episode of the back half, we are going to talk about Lost in Translation, navigating the nuance of cross-cultural love.
Yes, so just to give y'all a backstory, I was in a relationship for 10 years with someone who was outside of my culture. He was from the brown community. That's the best way to describe it to
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah. I mean,
And the definition of brown community is of Indian descent,
are we?
especially as a Black American woman.
Yeah, a thing is a thing. There are no gray lines when it comes to Black Americans. Like,
Yeah.
you either in the club or you're not in the club. You
No,
just
I guess I want to specify that though, because even though it's becoming more common, you don't see Black women with someone who's not Black. So it's not as common. Would you say?
I would say I would agree with that. I think as time moves on, we're going to see more of it happening. And I
Mhm.
think this conversation may be a catalyst for Black women to think about. Like, if you are going
Who want to explore.
yeah,
Yeah.
engage in that dynamic. You know, you've experienced that already.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to, let us know.
Or give some words of advice when dating.
Yeah.
Before it gets serious.
Before it gets serious. And what's that? 90 days?
Like 90 Day Fiance.
Is it 90 days? It's 90 days. Like, I don't know.
I would say it depends on how deep they are into their culture, because some move faster than others. Some are
Okay.
more serious, is more like courting versus just dating. For my situation, it was just dating. He's Americanized.
Mhm.
So there was no courting or nothing like that happened. We were just simply dating for a couple years and with the intention on getting married eventually. Yeah.
Okay. So, what made you realize that something was different? What was the piece in the relationship that said, hey, we're not aligned here, or,
Mhm.
this is just completely different from what I'm used to?
I would say our conversations about Black women and how we date. He just didn't understand why we would have kids and he never knew who the father was. Like his friends, who's the dad? And I'm like, I don't know. So he just didn't understand. And it was really hard to explain it to him, because
Okay.
it's also hard for me to understand sometimes.
Okay.
In a way, like our culture around how we have children with some people who are not present, or have multiple children and multiple fathers and all those things. It was hard to explain it to someone who came from a culture where their culture wasn't broken in that way.
I think the other piece to that is, how do you navigate that there are so many cultural differences?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that something that you notice? Is it exhausting trying to explain what's happening
Yes.
in our culture to
Someone else who doesn't understand, or they're just curious.
okay.
I had to check myself sometimes because I would get offended.
Okay.
And if this person wasn't open to understanding, then they wouldn't ask. They would just judge. And so I would come at it it was exhausting because I would come at it offended. I would come at it like, why would you even ask that? Do you not know what happened to the Black community from dismantling what do you call it? When you have two parents in the home, and just a full home with a father present, a mother pregnant, nuclear families, like trying to explain to him why they didn't exist.
Okay.
Meanwhile, like his parents have been married his whole life, and they came here from their country, and they still have the traditions, and they know exactly who they are. They know exactly, so he has a whole different perception on marriage.
Okay.
Even, whereas my parents weren't married. So I'm offended that you're even asking. And also, I'm a single. I fit the description. I fit the statistics. So I will always come at it.
And I can see you taking it personally, because now it's almost as if he's asking a question about you.
Me,
Like,
yeah.
how did you make this decision for your life?
Yes.
So I can see being taken aback. Like you trying to check. You can't check me about this. It's done.
It's me, and then it was my mom. So I have a daughter, 13. So we were a blended family. I came with a child into the relationship, and so him asking about why do Black women choose to be single moms? Why don't they just choose to not have kids? Or uh how come they don't have, like, these weren't his exact words, but this is how this is the premise of the conversation. I do want to make that clear, but it was just the point of explaining why certain things were the way they were.
Yeah.
But I would get offended. I would get angry because I'm like, you just don't understand.
It's hard when you're trying to explain something to somebody and like you know the reasons. So it's the reasons are not as easily communicated. Like you know the reasons. Like I'm not gonna go down this laundry list of reasons why.
That's like someone trying to explain to me why they do certain traditions in their culture. We know it exists for a reason. We see that it brings everyone together.
Yeah.
And we just don't, we get the backstory, but then there's only so much explaining you can do before you have to just understand to understand. Like, or understand to understand. I wouldn't ask someone like jump in the broom.
Yeah.
Oh, we jumped the broom because we were slaves, and that's how we made a union. But then they're like, well, why were you slaves? How many other questions do you want? How much explanation do you need?
And and at a certain point it's just like if you're curious, and maybe it's just like the way that I'm set up. If I'm curious about something, I'll sit on it. I won't even have any questions. I'll dig into it later on my own time.
Exactly.
To gather more information.
Because only you can sit with yourself to understand something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did being in this relationship, what types of conflicts did you recognize, or what type of conflicts
so it wasn't
themselves?
Yeah, it wasn't just about racial issues, which culturally I said something like he nagged about something before. And so I said, let me go ahead and get up because I do not feel like hearing your mouth.
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what was on the other side of this nagging.
But he heard, you need to shut your mouth because I don't feel like hearing it. Basically, it's like what he heard. And explaining, like we was arguing, Marty, we argued the whole day until I could say like, hey, this is just a saying that we say as Black people. I don't feel like hearing your mouth, so I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. It may sound rude to someone else, but I'm trying to explain to you I'm not disrespecting you. And so like of his culture, of his traditions, of his manhood is like masculinity. So it's like you disrespectful. You disrespecting me. You telling me to shut up. And I'm like, no, I just said I don't feel like hearing your mouth, so I'm gonna do it. Like I'm actually doing good here.
I'm actually doing what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm doing what you. I'm actually effectively communicating.
I'm doing the thing.
Exactly. I'm effectively communicating. I fixed the action, and I've said like I'm gonna go ahead and do this because this made him upset. Now I done made you upset because you said I told you to shut your mouth.
I mean, it's a thing. So it wasn't just always a racial thing, conflict. Like what other conflicts that made you realize that, you know, there was some different things that you needed to navigate?
The fact that he's first generation raised in America, and so he was connected from his culture, but then also still had actions that replicated that because that's what he saw at home. You have to deal with American things, especially a Black American girl from Detroit. Like you're gonna have to deal with. I'm not in his culture. They don't lift a finger. The men don't lift a finger. Like they make. I was taught to make my man play. Iron his clothes, draw him a bath.
You're a rock star.
My granny, shout out to my granny. She used to draw my granddaddy's baths. Being soft and catering to a man, that's no issue. I consider myself super soft, very feminine, but of course, as a Black girl from Detroit, we have edges, and I know people who are even harsher, who are even harder. So when he would say things like I'm being disrespectful, it would really make me upset because I'm like, you don't know what disrespect is. Like, you don't know what you don't know what it is because I'm not disrespectful. I'm not masculine. So it was him trying to be with an American, but still having the way he was raised, those traditions, the how the traditional household works, where the woman really doesn't question much or gives aggression. Could you imagine?
I can't. I really can't, folks. And for the life of me, as we discussed earlier, that there will be an uptick in women, Black Americans exploring the option of dating someone from the brown culture.
Yeah.
But in my heart of hearts, I just know it's gonna be a Black American for me, because I'm really, really, I'm not harsh.
Yeah.
But it's some lines that I just need to be able to cross, and they already
And they understand
understand.
it. Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of stuff I do that's probably not. It's nothing her taught her, but it's nothing your granny taught you at all. Like, days you gonna come in and I'm gonna be like, shit, you didn't eat.
Right. No, that's so that was
I be dog.
so and I take some sort of but if you're not a cooker, especially dating somebody from the brown community, all of the things where their grandmothers would put their plate down, pick it up right when they're done. Like, you were not responsible, or the man is not responsible for anything. But if you don't cook, you might as well just go head on somewhere, because they want home cooked meals every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's a lot to put on. Like, he doesn't cook. He does not cook. And I already knew that. These are things that we had already established, but actually being in it, my granddaddy used to make a bomb smothered ribs that I didn't eat when I was little. Smothered ribs, rice for breakfast, eggs in the bacon grease, breakfast type of stuff. He used to cook. He was a Southern guy. So yeah, my granny did these things, but he would go fishing. He would gut the fish. He would cook the fish, fry the fish, grill. Dating someone who never had to touch a stove.
Yeah, that, not to say like,
And he would accommodate. Like, we would have dinner at a restaurant where we would order takeout, but being responsible for what somebody eat all the time,
and to even have that type of expectation, like, hey, if we're staying in the house, then you're cooking.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot that goes on sometimes before you get home.
Especially if you're not and I wasn't a stay at home. So
yeah,
I wasn't a stay at home. The kids, my daughter, we can go to McDonald's. We can go here, we can go there, but she's with me. I'm in control of that.
Yeah.
But he has his own schedule. I got to make sure that the food is on the table, or that the food is prepared. Even making the plates, making the plate.
Listen here, folks. I don't want anybody to take anything out of this conversation that would make you believe that it's happening over here. It doesn't happen.
Not in your chateau?
No.
Why?
No, as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. We cook when we have new recipes, when
no, that doesn't work.
when we want to.
No. You need to have a starch and a meat. You can have a vegetable if you want to, but a starch and a meat.
My number one meal around here is the salmon Caesar salad. Put me a piece of salmon on the stove.
Yeah, you got the protein with your
You better believe it's some spinach, arugula, is some kale in the refrigerator. We gonna put a little feta cheese on, a little goat cheese on it.
No.
Pish posh. We gonna be done.
No, you have to be like dating someone, or someone courting you, or you guys are seriously talking. You have to be ready to be a housewife. You have to be ready to be able to cook. He cleaned. I will say that. I'm so grateful.
So nice.
He cleaned. He folded clothes. He washed clothes. Yes, he did that. I will say that he did make up for that. But as far as cooking, no. I'm responsible for any meal that I eat.
So you mentioned that you were in a relationship. So is this a past tense thing?
Yeah, we're not together.
No, and the only reason I was asking that question is, so would you ever, explore this option again? Or what have you learned going forward?
No, it's not my desire. I want a Black man.
Something about them Black men.
Yeah, I want one.
Got me in a chokehold.
I trained for this. I was in the big leagues over so everything I got to offer is may the best man win. But I'm prepared now. I have a full of what my granny tried to not even try what my granny exemplified and what I've experienced, and you put that together, and it's a princess. It's a wife.
Look at
So
that, folks.
so I will say that I would not explore it again because I know parts of myself that I would have to make like compromise, and I like how I am. So I just want a black man who can understand me and who can provide. So he's a provider. Like he is a provider. His wife is going to be taken care of. His kids are going to be taken care of. And so that's what I found in him, and not to say that
that was the only thing.
that's not the only thing, but that's a non-negotiable. Because if I'm coming to the table with, hey, I can cook 5 days out the week, and maybe you could take care of breakfast 2 of those 5 days. I learned different parts of myself emotionally and how I respond to men, how combative I was at times about certain things. You got to pick and choose your battles, and also you have to. I couldn't. It wasn't that I've always had the ability to not make any person feel less than what they are, but to make a man feel less than what he is. So I never I always had the awareness, but I will say that it has been heightened to not disrespect men or to not emasculate someone because of X, Y, and Z, or that came up in different arguments. You get what I'm saying? Where I'm going with that? Yeah. It came up in different things where I'm like, no, I'm actually not, but this is how you feel. So how can I do whatever, whatever, whatever? But no, I want a black man. So a king.
Oh, look at you. She said, I just, because it's, if you had to give a piece of advice to somebody that was considering exploring someone, and I take it this person is from the Middle East,
I would just say to make sure that your morals align, your values align, and also make sure that and this applies to really any relationship, I would say, but your temperament, how that person, because how they would, what was the title of the episode? Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation.
So just like how I don't feel like hearing what you got to say. I don't feel like, dealing with that, how that was lost in translation. I would say make sure that the person understands your sense of humor, and make sure the person understands your culture and where you come from and what's offensive and what's not. And make sure you understand what's offensive to them. Because when he took offense to that, it didn't make me communicate in a different way where I was compromising a part of myself. It made me understand where he was coming from and understand boundaries on how to use different sayings or my words in a different way with him, so that he can know that I don't mean any offense.
That you weren't being harsh.
Yes, or I don't mean any harm. Yeah, I don't mean any harm.
Yeah, it's, like you just said, it's really, I need to be with someone that understands my nonverbal communication. Because I am aware that when I'm annoyed, my tongue is really slick, and the words I say could possibly not be disrespectful, but my tone will give off like, who do you think you're talking to? So
how do you adjust that? What do you do?
Generally, I stop before I say anything. And in those moments when I don't stop, people, I don't care.
And so in that moment, moment where you go nonverbal, is it you expressing like, hey, it is the nonverbal communication, because you said you want them to understand. So basically what you're saying is when you're annoyed, you just stop talking because you know it can get worse.
It can get worse.
I don't like someone who nitpicks knowing that I'm irritated and trying to force me to talk or force me. You can't be in control of me. I'm controlling myself by doing what my boundary setting to control my emotions, control my mouth, and you're overstepping that by trying to force me into talking.
Yeah. And when you are self-aware, when you are so self-aware, the minute that I feel that you're pushing my boundaries, I know I'm about to swing for the fences.
Yeah.
I have to hit a home run right now so you can leave me alone.
Yes.
So then we enter another situation because now I've really went below the belt or something like that.
Things were said that you can't take back.
Hey, Hey, should have left me alone.
No, don't
I
poke the
don't,
bear.
I don't do that well. I think as we continue as Black women, continue to navigate writing our love stories out here in the world, at these big ages, what do we have to ask hard questions of ourselves before we even get in this place where we are exploring new opportunities or new cultures, new people, because there's some self-reflection that needs to happen.
Yeah.
And as you have went through this experience, like you gave it a try and it wasn't all bad.
No, it was an amazing experience, I will say. I was never it was normal relationship stuff,
Yeah.
just lost in just translated very differently.
Yeah.
It was cuz I had to question myself and ask, this is not something that with Black women and having kids. That's not something that Black men don't question. So I had to ask myself, are you offended because he's not Black, or are you offended because it's how somebody is communicating, you know?
Okay.
So I had to also ask myself at different times, am I offended by this because he's not Black?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I was with, I guess it's the way of communicating. If I was with a Black man who believed the same thing, but he just said it in a way where I could translate it and I
Yeah.
understand, like, she always, she what's up, like, what?
Right.
Tell me why, like,
Right. It's different when Jamal said, like,
yes, because
okay.
there's an understanding. There is Jamal can do something about it to help.
Jamal is probably really concerned.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
So
concerned.
with him, it was, am I offended because I feel like you're judging and because you not a part of the community? Because so what are you gonna do in
Right.
order to make a difference? And so I had to ask myself those different questions. And so you have to be aware of the biases that come up and the assumptions that both parties make.
Yeah.
Like on my end, how can I understand what you're trying to say? Are you really concerned because these are your friends, or are you just judging because the women in your culture do something different? Cause then I would start to talk about I would start to talk about the cousin. I'd be like, okay, and is you asking, what's her name? Why she doing blah blah blah?
And I don't want to talk about your cousin. I don't want to talk about your sister, and I certainly don't want to have to talk about your mama.
Right. Right.
So let's keep it cute.
Right. Let's keep it cute, because what are you asking here? Are you saying, like, what are you asking? Do you got a cousin for her? That's why you asking, because you want to just make sure that they done and over with.
Like a coworker, or
you got somebody in mind for her?
Someone in mind. Do you have a reference?
Yeah. So that's why I would get offended, because it's like, okay, what you got going on? Because they've been asking me where your cousin at. That's something that everybody was like, where's his cousin? I'm like, ooh, girl, this is your habibi. Is that bad?
You should know.
But they say it to me.
Who says it to you? They say it to you?
Yes.
And they don't take offense to it?
No.
Do you say our word to them?
Habibi is like baby, like my baby.
Oh, okay. Look at me learning something.
It's not the hard N word.
I'm not going to get out there and say
Let me look it up. I'm going to look it up, and you can clip it if you have to, but I don't think, no.
Okay.
And even like voila. But we have a large community, and so of course we go to school in Dearborn. There are a lot of women who are actually interested in dating. That I told y'all better be ready to cater. But they take care. It's like, let me take care of you so you can take care of me. They have to be a priority though. One of my friends just told me, he was like, yeah, I want to move to Saudi, so that I can afford a maid for my wife so that she can cater to me. And I said, that don't sound like a bad gig.
Doesn't sound like a bad plan.
But are we willing to accept that level of commitment to somebody? Like, are we willing to commit to somebody and submit to somebody in that way?
I think some of us are. You all heard me. Me in this household.
So Marty, if you
we got rules around here. We got big rules.
Listen, wait. So if you were exploring and open to dating, do you think you could date at that level of commitment to each other?
No. It's so, and because this is, this isn't ran by the FCC, and I don't want to offend anybody, but I long for the connection where I can say, nigga, what?
Yeah.
What you say, nigga?
Right, and call it back. Like, nigga, what you talking about?
What?
Yeah.
Nigga, you crazy.
Yeah, right.
Nigga, you crazy.
I yearn for, I got my old lady at home. You should be proud.
I am. Oh,
And I'll be like, it's me.
you know, like seriously, like so,
Just the understanding. I yearn for, like, let's turn on Luther. Let's turn
like
on, let's.
I like to two step in the living room floor. You know, the music on,
Mhm.
spun around. Like
I yearn for the, ooh, I like that. You like
it's a
this,
lot
baby?
of. I like to hear. I like when black men use our terminology. Like
Yes.
you did that.
Right.
What are you talking about?
And
You don't know that.
I got a friend. He just, and I told him, I said, you gonna be all right. Cause he go through it. But I'm like, you just have this, you're not afraid to show a little bit of femininity.
Like just be a little
And it be so
softer.
funny. It just be so funny. It's like, I love that.
Like yesterday, I fixed the cabinet in the kitchen, and my son was standing there like, girl, shut up. You did that. Look at you, girl. He's talking about whoop, whoop, whoop. Like, yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm talking about.
You know where that comes from? That derives from? That femininity?
what?
The mother?
Well,
Or having, cause some black men don't have that.
it is so many women around
Some
here.
of them
Po
are way
child.
too sassy.
Po child. He knew he had to be here for all of this.
I love that.
He the only one.
I
So,
love that. I love that. Like, he had women around him.
yeah, he knows how to calm us all down,
Mhm.
and he know how to ignore us. Like they on something today.
Yes. So I don't like a man who doesn't. Yes, we would get into arguments during that time, and I'm like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm literally just outraged. My hormones are aggressively attacking my body. What would you like for me to do?
What do you want me to do? How do you suggest I handle this?
If I had found myself apologizing because I just started one more time, I think what would be interesting is we were not only dating, we were engaged. So we were looking at marriage. So for me, I really didn't understand the concept of marriage because I experienced it in so many different traditional ways. My parents weren't married.
Mhm.
My granny and my grandfather were married, but she already had 2 kids.
Okay.
And then he had a whole bunch of kids. So it was a lot
So
of
you
different
didn't see that nuclear family.
family, like how you would imagine, where you actually give away your daughter, you give them
Mhm.
the hand and all of that stuff. You know, we say that here in America, but it's actually taken very serious in other cultures. Like, it's actually done where you actually give this person is now your new daddy. This the new daddy. And so understanding that as a black woman, because depending on how you were raised, because this is not every black woman's story.
Yeah.
Some do have fathers who do give their hand in marriage,
Yeah.
but no, these women stay with their parents until the man takes
Until
the hand. But
Mm-mm.
see, the difference with those cultures and black people, the brokenness that we've experienced. But the way that they look at marriage and how serious that they take it, not to say that we don't, but there's less of us married than there are of them.
Yeah.
And so we have to, when you come marriage minded with someone of from that culture, you have to understand how the women work, and not to say to conform to that because they chose you for a reason.
Yeah.
But things still come up that are of that culture where you have to be willing to be the person who cooks every day. And if you're willing to give that commitment, that's fantastic. But if you know that you like to live at how we're used to living, and it's not anything less than, it's just the different cultures and and the different traditions that they have, you have to be willing to put up with that. Like, willing to commit to that. Because he's the man and you follow the man, as we as black women say we do, that we want a leader and all these different things.
I'm listening to what you're saying, but because I have removed those ideas from my mind,
That it could that could even, what you mean?
I've removed this idea of some black man coming up and he's gonna lead me somewhere. I've totally
So that's
I
something
scratched it out.
that's not
Yeah,
gonna work.
I
You
know.
could never date no, you can never date a Middle Eastern guy. You could never date a guy.
Well, I'm going home. Leave me alone. I'm going home.
And can you give some wisdom on that? And he's talking about, boy, I'm going home. Boy,
I'm going home. Sound real strict over here. I'm going home.
strictness is strict.
The bills is paid. The Wi-Fi is hot.
And he wasn't even, so me saying that, we didn't understand each other. He wasn't even the most strict. He wasn't even, like I told in the beginning, he's Americanized, all this stuff. He wasn't even the most. And I'm sitting up here like, oh my God, it's strict over here. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So it has to be a level of understanding.
So you were lost in translation for a decade.
No, I was lost in. Okay, yeah,
It was a decade.
yeah,
Anybody,
yeah.
does anybody remember that 10
Well,
years is a decade?
we understood each other until we didn't anymore. I would say I was lost in translation for 5 years, and the first
Okay.
5 years were amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cause he's also 10 years older than me. Did you know that?
Now that's the part that we need to talk about
Unless you got time.
because when you have that type of age difference, somebody expecting you to have an apron in your kitchen that you be pulling out when you cooking food. Boy, I'm just trying not to get this on my shirt.
Right, right. No, I did. I have aprons now. We had two different versions of ourselves.
Mhm.
I was 20, he was
Okay.
30. I will say that because I had a daughter, I was looking for stability,
Yeah.
consistency, and somebody who gauged well with my daughter. And when I found that, there was no coming up from it. Because, dating with a kid that young and all of that, these niggas not.
See, you just got to stick with the niggas.
I couldn't at the time, though. I mean, I guess I just wasn't willing to.
Was there
no
a
more.
shortage? I want to know.
No, this just was
if there was no shortage 10 years ago, I can promise you they almost extinct now.
At that,
Promise you.
not extinct, Marty. I still have to find my husband.
Oh,
That-
you gonna see him strolling out there on that ice like a woolly man.
My friend told me they know what type of woman you are now to be something that they not.
That's what
And that's scary. You know how you said I'm probably gonna be single. Okay, let me tell you my rationale when we started dating. Cause I thought about it. Cause I even asked him, how would it work having children? I got a whole black child, and I'm about to have mixed babies, and then my little black child gonna be looking at the mixed kids. My rationale was love is love at the time, and I was like, what's the odds of me meeting a brown boy who came from this other country, grew up on 7 Mile, went to the same Lutheran school as my mama? It was meant to be. Because of his community, it's only 2% Christian. So I'm like, yeah,
okay.
Yay, I got a Christian man from this. No, we do not. We still don't talk the same language because not only are we from different cultures, from different groups, you are 10 years older than me. So of course you see a young woman with a baby, you like her, you like the kid. Of course you like, yeah, we about to wrap this up.
We about to wrap this up.
Because you got time to have kids. You got time to do. And then when I started saying like, oh, I'm not having kids until I'm 30. Boy, did I make a mistake saying that. Because you better be ready to have kids at 20 at least. You think I want to have kids at 36?
I mean,
I feel like that was a decision you made. Like, you can't, but see, that's another, like, being marriage minded with someone from this culture. You gotta be ready to have the kids.
you gotta be ready.
Hey, you cannot date them without having no kids.
Listen, and in my case, a date and you already have a child, you are like, there's a conversation that you have to have with yourself. Because I done been to the finish line already.
I know we were just talking about this because I said I was like I'm gonna be starting all over again.
I was dating a guy and he and I were, we're gonna have a baby. And my son told me he could drive. And I was like, you've never been to driver's training before. And then he was like, I could drive.
That's so funny that you didn't know that
he drove me. I got in the car, but I got in the back seat because I wanted to see. Shows you what type of parent I am. So I get in the back seat.
Him?
I don't know. I don't know.
Mind you, how old were you when you had your son?
I was 19.
Okay.
So I don't know who taught him how to drive, but he backed the car out, didn't hit nothing, went on down the road, and I was like, he can drive. The very next day, I told the guy that I was dating, like, yeah, no, the baby off the tape.
Yeah.
The one I got don't need me no more. So when dating someone that's marriage minded, that's from a culture where marriage is the goal.
Yeah.
So you can start the thing. You can start the family. To find someone that you believe that you're connected to and you can have a future with, but they already have a child, I'm sure that was complicated for him.
Yeah.
as
because people
well.
would ask him and I would get offended. People would
You
ask
can't
him
be in there getting offended at everything.
because in my mind, I had Morgan when I was 16. It's very different from someone who was in a relationship with somebody at an adult age and decided to have a kid. It is one and the same because I still have the kid, but it was different in my mind. So in my mind at that age, it was, I got a kid and what? Like, and what is that about? Like, I
Right.
actually, how well do you get along with kids? Like, that's my question to
Right.
you. But it was not a thing. I was like, and they were like, how is it? They were asking him, how is it? How is that? With the baby daddy and blah blah blah. And at this point, at this time, he wasn't a factor. He wasn't. He was present, but he wasn't an issue.
Okay.
And so he was like, "Oh, it's good." And I would be like, "Why would they ask you that? Like, why?" And he's like, "Cause that's normal to ask. You got a kid." And I don't think that she's a factor, though. I don't think that we're a total package here, and life is great. That everything is great. So they shouldn't have to ask.
They're just curious.
I know,
That's
I know, I
all.
know. I was offended though because it would make me feel some type of way.
So, what did you find the solution to be for you from this experience?
Well, don't date for survival.
Good answer. Good answer.
Because that's what it was at the beginning, and then as time went on, like I said, the first 5 years were blissful because we knew two different parts of each other. He's 30, I'm 20. Some men at 30, they're still fun. They're still figuring out life. People in their 30s in general are just getting started with adulthood. So I
Some people in
experienced,
their 50s are just getting started with
yeah. So I
adulthood.
experienced him fun, full of energy. Sometimes not careless, but just going with the flow and
Yeah.
all this stuff. And then as time went on, his traditional ways
His
became
core.
became more apparent as we became more serious. And so I also brushed stuff under a rug. Like, no, that's not you. Like, that's not who you are. I was ignoring the signs and ignoring the things that were happening that felt like, wait a second, that don't feel right. I don't feel like we should be having this conversation. So I would say not dating out of survival. And if it's somebody, like for women who are interested in someone from another culture, now talking about it fully, you have to be willing to understand their culture and their traditions and willing to compromise some of yours. And that's not to say like naturally, maybe you're like this already. Maybe you like to cook every day. But if you don't, if you're not ready to compromise and also sacrifice some of your core beliefs, like if you know that you weren't being disrespectful, you may just have to let it go and never say it again or never do that again. So when dating, you have to be sure that the core things are not lost in translation. They can be interpreted and understood.
Yeah.
Honestly, would I do it again? You ask that. If the black man did not exist, yes, I would do it again. I would do it again.
If he was extinct?
Yeah, I guess. No, I mean, if you can do it, I recommend. Like they take good care of you. They're good people.
There are good people everywhere.
I know.
They're good.
I only have one experience with one other culture. If you're in dating someone in the brown or Arab community, Middle Eastern community, what have you. That's where I come from when I'm saying it because I haven't dated a white man.
Would you?
No.
No. No to Caucasian. Well, Asian. No.
I'm not attracted to Asian men.
I feel like they're growing on me.
For real. I don't know how they take. I actually just need to enlighten myself.
I feel like they're growing on me. And maybe it's because I feel like they have an appreciation for,
you know what, you're right,
Black culture.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, you're right about that.
But
my only thing with palm colored people is their families. Like the person can be good.
Yeah.
The person can be great, but then you got the family and the friends. They may have a better level of understanding too.
Okay.
But they're not like they would be going after young.
But I also would think that if you found someone in the same age range, they would be more set in that marriage mindset because it has to happen now.
And that could offset the misunderstandings that came along with us because somebody my age would probably be able to understand it more and process it more because we're in it to get they don't have a level of context to life. Like he had a whole different level of context to life than me.
Yeah. And to be frank, he was kind of behind. Like he was behind the normal trajectory.
We looking around and his friends already having babies.
Yeah, like, but it's one of those things that
you're right.
When you make those decisions for your life, you have to be responsible for them. So in his case, he was waiting for someone that he could start this family with. That's not your fault to, change all of your plans like right now to.
No, but it was very irresponsible for either one of us to continue knowing that I wanted to wait 10 years and he wanted to wait 5.
5, yeah.
That was irresponsible on both ends. And I would say it's because we love each other so much. Yeah. So we're going to make it work. You can't do 10, I'll do 6 or 7. Not only did we, what they call it when you living out of wedlock?
That's it, shacking up?
Shacking up. Yeah, we shacked up. And
his family was okay with that?
Yes.
And he was okay with that?
I only rolled my eyes because they were okay with it because they're Americanized.
Okay.
So assimilated.
Yes.
But ultimately the actions did not match up with the core beliefs and all of that. So looking back on it, we were doing everything that you would do in a marriage, but we just were not married. I might as well just stay where I was at if I was going to do that. And I was also the one who would be like, we don't have to get married. We can go buy a house. Yeah.
You were an angel because I would have bought a house and came like, look what I did.
Yes. So we were living in this lifestyle that looked and felt like marriage, but it wasn't. And so
I love it.
A lot of irresponsible things happened.
But I think what I love most is that you've taken responsibility for your part.
Yeah. It's not okay to stay out of, don't do anything out of fear. I was fearful that the stability that I was provided would be gone, that I wouldn't know how to keep it, together. Because I come from, so that played into our relationship, me coming from instability and finally having it and having a man who provided it and all these things, doing things
that had like a scarcity mindset. Like, I can't.
Or complex.
Yeah, I know what it feels like to be without this.
Yes.
And I can't lose this.
If you are going to date outside, people go talk about it regardless. And so I'm like, we done went this far. We 5 years in now. Might as well just keep going. So worried about what other people would have to say. You should have stayed. You should have stayed black. You trying to do X, Y, and Z. And it's just like, why did I care about that?
And it's sad because, our culture, we gonna talk either way. It don't matter. If you date Kermit the Frog, we gonna talk.
Not only that was your ticket. That was what?
Ain't no way I would have messed that up.
Right. He take care of you, blah, blah. And it's also because it was something that they never seen. Like, I gotta be honest. I've never experienced a couple that look like us.
I don't think I have either.
Well, you experience me now.
I mean, but like, I've never even seen, and I'm talking about on a serious level. Yeah.
But it's just like
it's fun.
Yeah. So I would say that they're more American. Assimilated is like that's a harsh word. But they're more American. Like his cousin got black children.
Naturalized. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. They had different cultures in their family. So the living together was not a thing. Now, if it was the female, now that's different.
Okay.
But the men can do whatever they want.
Of course they can. In this one relationship, there's so many you have an age dynamic, culture, family, and faith.
Yeah. Well, so me and Morgan, my daughter, we went to his church, the Lutheran church.
And you all are Baptist?
Yeah. Well, non-denominational now, but grew up Baptist, Kojic, all of that. Both my mom's side was Baptist, my dad's side was Kojic. And, we got the Holy Ghost. Now, y'all talking about the Holy Spirit. The ghost hit you different than the Spirit's like, oh,
hallelujah. Amen.
That's it. Praise the Lord, saints.
Preach, Pastor.
So him coming to my church, even though we're both Christian, it's too long. As we all complain, it's too long. You gotta dance. I'm like, you don't have to, but you feel like you have to.
But if you want to get up out your seat, you can. You
can. You ain't gotta. You can.
You
ain't gotta do all of that.
But if you want to,
you can. It's an open. So having that different dynamic where we go to his church on Easter, I'm falling asleep. I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot sleep here.
no, you cannot sleep on one of our highest holidays.
So then what do we? Why didn't I go to that one where I should have went to the one where every seat is packed? Well, we couldn't even go to each other churches without being like, even friend groups, not more so on him. He fit in anywhere.
Okay.
But as I started to swoop back into my blackness and not code switch no more, I ain't code switching nowhere.
You can't.
I'm not. It's almost offensive. Why am I even talking like this?
For real? Why am I acting like I'm enthused and I'm not?
Right. So when his friend group started to change, but I want to experience some of your culture, some of your friends from that culture.
What I hear you saying is that you were just going along, like this is the person that you love and that you're in a relationship with, but it wasn't really a space for you to say, not this, like let's go and do something that you all are doing right now. Like how do you let somebody know that you want to know more about their culture and not just about their social group?
Right. Yes. If that's something that you value, you have to make sure that that same person values that. Because if they're not, because if you into my culture, you coming over to my house or you coming to the fish fries, the family reunions, all of that, but then I'm not experiencing the wonderful bridal showers that I see online, like if I'm not experiencing what I see.
Listen,
I was looking forward to that.
They know how to party.
Go.
They know how to party. I have a friend. I'll never forget when she got married. Got engaged. The engagement party, top tier.
Yes.
No, it was something they had. She had 2 ceremonies.
Oh,
so she had the one ceremony, and I went in, and they were all doing
henna party.
And I was like, "What is that?" Like every corner of this book Cadillac room. Sweet wall to wall. I said,
and it don't be like your hall or it be intimate spaces that's filled to the brim with stuff. Whether it's somebody's basement, country club, the penthouse suite in the book Cadillac, yeah. And I wanted to experience that. Yes.
Like y'all ain't through?
No.
How long does this go?
Yeah. But that was not being able to experience that. Like the most food eats down. Give me some kofta, give me some butter chicken, give me some biryani, give me some naan, some butter naan.
I promise.
They got sweet grits. They don't call them grits. The food, phenomenal.
I promise. I don't care what they have on the menu. If I see
samosas, freshly crisp,
with potatoes,
I love them. I don't eat them. That was one of the best experience food-wise, being exposed to Indian food, Mediterranean food.
It's a life. I like food though.
Me too. I am a foodie. I can't.
Food.
Yeah. So experiencing like him, I wanted to experience the culture.
Mm-hmm.
So the likelihood of me finding someone, I mean, like, or even me knowing that it was something that I had to learn. Like I had to learn that no, who do you hang around? We understand each other. We're both minority groups.
Yeah.
So if you are a minority group, that's all I have to say.
But we are the majority. We are the majority.
You know what I'm trying to say. Well, that's what they want you to believe, I guess. You're right. Teach me a lesson, coach. Yeah, so it was wanting to experience and not just understanding who the friends were and how engulfed into his culture.
It seems like if you could have just had a better if you could have had better communication in the beginning, just to, set the expectations for what you both wanted in your long-term relationship, I feel like it could have worked.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have worked, but I think because he had his own plan and you had your own plan as well, because you're coming into adulthood.
Yeah.
Like at this
my
time.
lack of context to life.
Like,
and what I was getting myself into.
The level of craziness that I was involved in my 20s, I wouldn't change any of it.
Yeah, I wouldn't change because one of my friends' perception was that he took my 20s away from me. I don't agree with that. Like I had to really think about it And I knew exactly what I was doing. Like, I have some level of awareness and
Yeah.
also accountability. Yes, and I would say no. He absolutely did not, because I knew, thank God I knew what abuse looked like. Thank
Mhm.
God I knew what I wanted out of a man. Very respectful, very loving, take care of me. But I would say no, he didn't, because he was doing what he I knew what the program
Yeah.
was. And so I stayed because that's
Mhm.
what I wanted to do. And I was traveling. Me and my baby doing good.
Listen,
Me and my baby, we in
listen.
Hawaii. But
And
we we're in, and not to say on the money tip, but even just caring for us, getting stuff
yeah,
that we needed, just being attentive, all of the things that I
it
could
was the
ask for.
care.
Yes, and it makes me like, dang, all the things that I could ask for. It kind of makes me, it does make me a little sad, because amazing person. But I would be doing us a disservice yet again to stay with somebody based on what they could do for me, and we don't align. And
Oh,
we're not aligned at all.
and that's for so many different areas in our lives
Mhm.
as we continue to grow as adults.
Mhm.
Because I'm under the belief that we never reach the fullness of adulthood. There's always something else that we're learning.
There's never an ending.
No, it never ends
Mhm.
because there are no manuals for life. There are
Mhm.
no manuals. There are people that will share their experiences with you, but you don't really know until you're actually in the situation.
Or out of.
I enjoyed talking with you
I enjoy talking with you
today.
too.
You know,
Is there anything that you learned?
yeah, I'll tell you what I learned.
Mhm.
Um, that I learned that you must ask the right questions in the beginning so you can understand there if you are looking to explore dating outside of your culture, but that's just in general with anybody that you're dating.
Yes.
Like have those hard conversations.
In the beginning. Not with the intent to change who you are, but to make sure that it fits who you are.
And the reason this is something that is important for me to learn at this stage in life is because sometimes you do have those moments when you feel like this is it. This is it.
Mhm.
So if there is someone who starts to engage you, you could become excited with the idea and not follow the rule of asking those hard questions. Maybe it is someone nice. Maybe it's someone that has something completely off the rails that they see in the future.
Mhm.
And that's not something that you want to be a part of.
Yeah.
I also learned that I gotta check on one word, one term that we used here. Habibi. I learned that.
I'm telling you, it's not a bad.
I'm
It's
gonna check it.
okay. I
I'm gonna check it.
I think she believes me because she said it again.
Yeah.
I'll ask my friend.
I learned that you can't operate from a place of survival and
Mhm.
fear, which is something that even when you're faithful, you will have moments of fear and anxiety that will creep up on you, and it's like, what am I gonna do?
And if you put up with that fear once, it's going to continue to show up. It's going to continue to show up in a stressful way.
Hmm.
It does something to your body. Like, every time I thought that the relationship was going to be over, I was operating out of fear. Like, let me do something to stop it.
Okay.
And you shouldn't, even outside of a relationship, even with a job, fearing that you're going to lose your job. That's not a place that someone should live at in their heads.
No, definitely not. Especially with a job. I mean, I
You
don't
could
know,
apply that fear thing to
to
anything,
anything. Fear is
and
dangerous.
it's never going to go away.
Fear is extremely
It's almost
dangerous.
like you're held captive.
Yeah. I want to thank you for being here with us on the back half where we discuss the trials of skilled adulting. Until next time, bye y'all.